Self-Esteem Parenting 23. Going beyond my comfort zone. When I graduated high school and was about to leave for yeshiva, I went to my father and said, "Dad, I don't think I'm ready for this." He said, "Of course you're not." And he gave me a lesson, a statement, a message to live by, which has carried me through my entire life. He said the following small sentence. He said, "The doing makes you ready." Of course you're not ready, because you're in your comfort zone. You're accustomed to the environment, you're accustomed to your teachers, to home, to me and mom. Everything is the same. It's the tried and the true. You like it because you're comfortable. It's familiar to you. Of course you're not ready. Only when you go forward and go to yeshiva and learn a new environment and get comfortable in the new environment will be able to be comfortable in a new place. It's like he said, diving off the high board when you've never done that before. You go to the edge of the board and you go, "Are you kidding me? Jump down there 3 meters? Wow, I've never done that before." But then you have the courage to say, "I'm going to give it a shot." You jump in the water and you say, "Wow, I never knew I could do that." Only when you do it do you feel you're ready. In your mind, you don't feel ready because you're comfortable, you're familiar. Going beyond your comfort zone means taking a risk, jumping in and saying, "Oh, now I'm ready. I'm only ready because I did it." In our parsha of Korach was a person who made a grave mistake. Korach said the following, Ki chol ha'eda kulam kedoshim. Bamidbar chapter 16, verse 3. Ki chol ha'eda kulam kedoshim. The entire congregation is holy. He said that the entire nation heard Hashem speak at Mount Sinai. We all attained the level of nevuah prophecy by hearing God speak. Therefore, we're all kedoshim, we're all holy. Therefore, we don't need a leader like you, Moshe, because we're all like you. We're all prophets like you. We don't need your leadership. Kulam kedoshim. We all are holy, and we don't need any leadership from anybody else. Of course, he was jealous of Moshe's leadership. He wanted to be the leader. But his claim was that we're all holy. We don't need anybody to lead over us. We're all on the same level of Kedusha. The grave sin, says the Alter of Slobodka, is that when he said we're all holy, he left the concept of holiness in a state of potential and didn't take it far enough. He didn't go beyond his comfort zone. What he said is that we're all potentially holy and we don't have to actualize it. The evidence for this attitude of Korach is as follows. He asked Moshe Rabbeinu, quoted by Rashi, he asked Moshe Rabbeinu, if someone has a blue garment, a blue four-cornered garment, completely tcheles, does this garment need a string of tzitzis? And Moshe said yes. And Korach said, he laughed at him and said, can't be. If the blue garment is there and it reminds you of the color of the sea, which reflects the color, which is reflected by the color of the sky, which reflects and reminds you of the color of the kisei hakavod, the throne of glory, then the purpose of tcheles, blue, is achieved by wearing a blue garment. You don't need tzitzis to remind you. You don't need a one strand of the tzitzis, which is made of blue, to remind you. You've already fulfilled the kedusha, the sanctity of the connection to God by having a blue garment. You don't need the mitzvah. You don't need the halacha of having a string which has a blue tcheles on it. Moshe said, of course you do. The potential of being close to God and being godlike is having the blue, but actualizing it means putting on the tzitzis. My Rebbe, Rav Uziel Milevsky, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, says the following. If you go into a clothing store and you see a suit and you see strings hanging on the edge of it, would you buy that suit? Obviously not. What would you say? You'd say, well, it's a nice suit, but there are strings hanging from the edge of the bottom of the suit. It's not finished. He said that's the spiritual idea of tzitzis. Tzitzis is that when you wear tzitzis, you have strings attached to your garment, you have unfinished business to do. And therefore, when you put on tzitzis every morning, whether it's talis katan or a talis gadol, you're saying, I have unfinished business. I'm not done. I have to go beyond my comfort zone and put on tzitzis and actualize my kedusha, actualize the potential of the blue and turned it into actualization by doing the mitzvos, by connecting to God in a practical, tachlistic way. Korach said, no, you don't need that. Korach was the first spiritual Jew, but he was not a halachic Jew. He was not able to actualize his potential and turn Kedusha, Kulam Kedoshim, we're all holy nation, into practicality. That, says the Alter, is the grave sin of Korach. He said to Moshe Rabbeinu, a room full of Sfarim, full of books, holy books, does it need a mezuzah? Moshe said, yes, of course. Korach said, why? It's infused, the room is infused with holiness. It doesn't need more holiness with a mezuzah. Moshe Rabbeinu said, that's not true. You have books, but the halacha is that every room has to have a mezuzah. And therefore a library, an Oitzer Sfarim, has to have a mezuzah on it. Because you have to show that God said there has to be a mezuzah. You have to see godliness that's guarding this room. And therefore you have to put a mezuzah on the door. It's enough, says Korach, to have a room full of spirituality. You don't have to have the halacha fulfilled of going beyond the comfort zone of spirituality by putting a mezuzah on the door. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, you have to take your spirituality, take your Kedusha, and actualize it. So says the Alter. The Alter Slobodka says that Kedusha, sanctity, means actualizing it. You have to go beyond your comfort zone and feel spiritual and then act spiritual. And the example it brings is kashrus, eating kosher. Refraining from eating non-kosher food and eating kosher food is actualizing Kedusha and bringing it into your body. Actualizing your body. If you eat negative non-kosher food, you cause timtum halev. You cause your body to be stopped up, to be blocked from spirituality. When you eat the items that Hashem allows us to eat, and therefore you actualize the Kedusha by bringing it into your system, bringing it into your body. You are what you eat. And when you absorb the Kedusha of the mitzvah, you create spirituality in your body through practical terms. That's what Kedusha means. And therefore, Korach did not go beyond his comfort zone. He said, let's be spiritual, but not be practical. And the Alter Slobodka says that we have to actualize our spirituality by going beyond our comfort zone and then actualizing it through the performance of mitzvahs. That's called Kedusha. That's called being holy. Now, many of our children find, and ourselves too, find different mitzvahs not very inspiring. Let's be honest. And all this talk about being holy and Kedusha and sanctity and actualizing, go beyond our comfort zone, do we actually feel that geschmack, that delight, that great feeling of its spiritual uplift of doing the mitzvahs? Let's be honest. Let's say you put on tefillin. Do you feel inspired to feel the strength of God's support of you and inspiration of you when you put on your arm tefillin and your head tefillin? Do you feel that way? Well, tefillin requires years and years of understanding, of practice, of learning about tefillin, and of putting on tefillin and understanding that God is with us in our heart, with our emotional self, with our mind self, with our intellectual self, in our ruach and in our moach, in our seichel. And we understand the philosophical underpinnings of tefillin, and you study about it. You study the Sefer HaChinuch and the meaning behind the Shorshei HaMitzvah. You study the Rokeach. You study the Rakanti. You study Rav Shamshon or Fel Hirsch on symbolism. Understand the meaning. You study Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan's book on tefillin. We have to just not take the Kedusha and say, oh, every same day, same old, same old. You have to put effort into the Kedusha by understanding, by putting investment of effort to understand the tefillin. So too with davening. I could go through davening for 29 days of the month going, oh, it was not inspiring. But the 30th day, I get a geschmack. There's one day where I was really on, where I got the words, where a certain phrase inspired me. So 29 days of same old, same old. The 30th day is a geschmack. Now, that takes effort. Does that mean the 29 days of everyday davening was boring and is not worth anything? Of course not. It means 29 days of same old, of perfunctory routine, doing the davening every single day, led to the foundation of the 30th day being, I got it. And now I understand that word. It inspired me. It's worth the 29 days to get to the 30th day of the geschmack. It takes effort. Mitzvos is a building with many floors, and it takes years and years and years of practice. With davening, we can take our children and say, you know what? I'm going to give you a ticket or a prize every time you find the meaning of this word. I'm going to give you a new word in davening. When you go to school today, I'm going to give you a little piece of paper with a word on it. Find that word in davening and tell me what it means. Try a little interactive quiz with your children. Make davening come alive. Have them experience davening. Or learn with them one word of davening through Sfarim of understanding of Be'ur Tefillah, understanding Tefillah. It requires, says Rav Shimshon Pinkus, requires time and effort of learning about Tefillah to understand Tefillah, to appreciate Tefillah. You can't just say the same words every day and come to expect that you understand them. Kulam Kedoshi means you have to put an investment of effort into the mitzvos and then appreciate them more. What about Shabbos? TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Shabbos. And Shabbos comes and it's the same old, same old. Many people don't feel a geschmack of Shabbos. Well, the Nesiva Shalom tells us that if we experience Shabbos and we don't get any inspiration of Shabbos and we feel it's very dry, like a piece of wood, then we will go to the world to come and listen to what he says. We will go to the world to come and safsal ba'olam haba. I will go to the world to come, I kept Shabbos, and I will be a bench in the world to come. If I felt nothing on Shabbos in this world, then I'll feel nothing in the next world. The next world, says Nesiva Shalom, is a replay of this world. My Rebbe Rav Moshe Shapiro Zatzal says that the next world is an outgrowth of this world. Olam Haba. The next world is not called Olam Hahu. This is Olam Hazeh, this world. If there was a separate world waiting called Olam Haba, where I would cash in my brownie points, that Olam Hazeh, it would be called this world and that world. Olam Hazeh and Olam Hahu. This world, where I do my work and I collect my brownie points, and then I'll cash them in. I'll take a couple of those Cadillacs, a Lincoln, a Lexus, a trip, a vacation, a yacht. I'll cash in all my brownie points of my mitzvos, and I'll cash them in Olam Hazeh, Olam Hahu, that world. That's not what it says. Olam Hazeh leads to Olam Haba. What's Olam Haba? Says the Alshich. Olam Haba mitoch Olam Hazeh. It's the next world which comes out of this world, which means that the next world is a replay of this world. If I experience Shabbos in this world as a bench, boring, non-inspired, then I'm going to replay Shabbos for eternity the same way in the world to come. It's the world that comes out of this world. Olam Haba mitoch Olam Hazeh. The world that comes out of this world. Olam Haba, not Olam Hahu. And therefore we have to put an effort in our mitzvahs. And therefore same old, go beyond your comfort zone and come to Shabbos by having prepared for Shabbos with your children. Look up aishatorah.com, and look up the family section on the Parsha and come with stories, age-appropriate stories for the 3-year-olds and the 5-year-olds and the 9-year-olds and the 12-year-olds and the 15-year-olds, and put in efforts of stories and put in efforts of charades and songs and games, and make Shabbos a positive experience. Make it come alive, make it geschmack. But that requires effort. Davening requires effort and creativity. Tefillin requires effort and creativity. The Shabbos table, Shabbos experience, lighting Shabbos candles. We have to understand what it means. Read and learn from Rebbetzin Support. Go online and hear Rebbetzin Support, who married my Rebbe, Rabbi Gottlieb. So just recently, Rabbi Rebbetzin Support Gottlieb talk about what the meaning of a woman lighting candles is, that she sparks the souls of her children. She lights candles, the number of candles corresponding to the people in her family, because she can spark the neshama of the people in her family, because a candle represents a neshama. That's why we light a yurtzeit candle on a yurtzeit, because it represents the soul of the person. So too when we're alive, surely we want to light candles that sparks the candle, the soul, representing the soul of our children and our husband. And therefore, understand the deeper meaning of Shabbos candles. It requires effort of learning. Join Partners in Torah. Join a seed program in England. Join a program where you can learn, put in more depth, go beyond your comfort zone of the same old, same old. Have your children do the same thing. Teach your children. We have to go beyond our comfort zone. That's what Kedusha is. Actualize Kedusha. Actualize the potential into the actual. Min hakoyach el hapoyel. From the potential to the actual. Actualization of Kedusha is living it, experience it. And that requires effort, an investment of effort on our part. In that way, we can go beyond our comfort zone and then learn the antidote to Korach va'adaso, Korach and his Ada, Korach and his congregation, who made a grave error by saying spirituality is enough. No, it's not. Spirituality must be actualized. If we do that, we'll go beyond our comfort zone. And when we do that, the doing will make us ready to be a stronger, more inspired Eved Hashem.